Hello and welcome to the Education on Fire podcast. The place where we share creative and inspiring learning in our schools. Season 2, Episode 26. Hello and welcome to the Education on Fire podcast with me, Mark Taylor. Today we're following on from my conversation on Monday with Mark Walker about the Tech4Good Awards, and we're going to be chatting to Arnav Sharma, who was a winner of the Tech4Good People's Award in 2016 and also a finalist for the BT Young Pioneer Awards at the same time. And he's a remarkable 10-year-old boy who will explain, as you will hear in a moment, what he developed and how he developed, and also what a rich experience it was for him taking part in the whole event. But I just wanted to make sure that you knew, if you go to the show notes, educationonfire.com, and have a look at the link there, which takes you to the Tech4Good website, and it's got some conversations with Arnav and also pictures of what he developed and some real background, and it's really interesting, and you really get a chance to understand more of the person behind the voice that you're going to hear on this podcast. So I hope you enjoy it from the participant's point of view, and this is Arnav Sharma. Welcome, Arnav, and thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
And can you just tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, what is the thing that you developed and what did you win the award for?
So the Asthma Pi is a device for asthma patients which helps them to manage their asthma and get on top of it. So it's connected to a Raspberry Pi and an Arduino. The Raspberry Pi is connected to a few sensors. One is the MQ135 gas sensor, which detects nitrous oxide, ammonia, carbon dioxide, which all are called asthma triggers, which can make if the asthma person gets in contact with the triggers, they can have an asthma attack. So it warns them before, so they know that it's not safe to be in that room. There's also a dust sensor which detects dust and pollen and smoke. There's also a temperature, humidity and pressure sensor in it, displayed on a 8x8 LED matrix, which is on a CellSat. And then it sends SMS text messages to the asthma person about their medication and appointments. And also, the asthma person can input their trigger if they find out using the kit, and it will focus on that trigger. There's also an accompanying booklet in a game which helps them to learn about asthma.
That really sounds like a very complex and in-depth thing to come up with. And you're 10 years old now, but you were just telling me that you were 8 years old when you first designed it and came up with the idea. So that's such an amazing achievement. How did you get involved in the whole Tech4Good idea? Was it something you did through your school or something you did that you came across in a different way?
Well, I wasn't planning to enter anything. I had made it for my aunt and my friends, just not for any award. But then my mom, without asking me, entered Tech4Good, and then she only told me when I was a finalist, so I had no idea I was in Tech4Good before that. It was like a surprise.
Oh, I see. It must have been an amazing surprise. Absolutely. So you, as with most great ideas, that they came from something that you were experiencing, or to help people that you already aware of, or family member, and that's exactly the same thing in your situation. Is that right?
Yes. First, I was on a school trip, and I saw my friend having an asthma attack. So I got curious about the disease and started researching more. And then my mum also told me that my aunt had asthma. So I thought about, and I had also started learning coding on a website called Khan Academy. And so I brought both of those together and came up with the Asthma Pi.
Oh, fantastic! And the Khan Academy is something that I've talked about before on the Education on Fire podcast, and that's a great thing, isn't it? Because you can really learn in your own time, and you can develop in a rate which really supports you. Is that how you found it?
Yeah, it's really helpful, and it has step-by-step video tutorials on nearly everything.
Brilliant. And when did you start using the Khan Academy, and when did you start getting interested in coding?
I started getting interested sometime after my 8th birthday, and my dad's also bought me a Raspberry Pi, so which made me a bit more interested, and I started using Khan Academy, I think when I was 7, somewhere about 7, yeah.
Okay, so you, all these things just sort of came together then, so you were able to use all the skills and all the opportunities that you had to make it into a fully fledged piece of kit that would actually help people, and that's I think that's a fantastic thing to do, and like I said, it must have been a really big surprise when you suddenly realised that you were in the finals of a competition you didn't even know that you were even entered in.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you've done it all on your own. You didn't do it with any friends or anything like that. It's your idea and your expertise and your learning which has got you to this stage. Is that right?
Yeah, and when I was doing research, as my mom and dad are doctors, they helped me a little bit, but as they grew up and there was not much technology, I had to do the coding myself.
Oh wow, fantastic! And so tell me a little bit about your experience for the Tech for Good. Once you realised you were a finalist, what happened then? Did you have to go to an award, or was there some sort of event you had to show your Raspberry Pi kit to? How did that work?
Well, when I was a finalist, there was an event on 8th June in which you went there and there was networking and they introduced the People's Award. And then, so in the networking, you got to meet the other finalists and see their project, which was a really good experience because the other people's project was amazing. And then, so when you came back, then they announced the winners a month later. And between that time was the People's Award, in which it was via Twitter. So, and then when we went to the awards, I had to display. Some people were chosen to display their project to the people who wanted to, and I did want to. And so yeah, so before the awards, you displayed the project to other people.
Okay, so and so that was a big part of it, so that they understood why you'd come up with this idea and how it worked for other people, and also it must have been interesting for you, for the things that other people have come up with. So, what sort of other things had people in the final come up with which were different to your Asper Pi kit? What was their what were some of their ideas?
Well, there was one project, Reconnect. So it was to share stories via this like messages app.
Okay.
And then there was this other project, E-Water Pay for African people. They had a token and they would get clean water if they put the token on the tap, and then it would give them water. That was one of the projects. Then there was Wayfinder, which develops a stick for blind people, which helps them navigate through the London Underground and tells them what there is and what there is not, and where are the obstacles, are there any upcoming stairs.
So they're all really exciting products to really help people and will really make a difference in people's lives. I can see that.
Yeah.
And what was your most favourite thing about being part of the Tech for Good awards? Was it the meeting people? Was it the chatting to people, explaining your idea? What was your favourite part of it?
It was seeing the other people's solutions to the problems in the world and seeing the various ideas, and it was also the support from the Tech for Good team.
Yeah, fantastic. And how many people are involved there? Was it a large event?
Yes.
And what do you think you've learned? I mean, because you were put into the awards by your mum, I guess that your story is a little bit different in terms of not having to try to win something. You're actually just doing it for your own interest. So where do you think your interests will come now? And what have you learned from being part of it? Do you think you'll create something else, or you'll try and develop what you've already created and move that on in a different direction? What have you got any plans for that sort of thing?
Yeah, I have made something else right now, a product for dementia people, and just finishing up on it right now.
Oh, okay. And what sort of thing is that? How does that work?
So as it helps dementia. When dementia people forget, they might forget family members. They're more likely to get depressed, and it would affect the whole family as a whole. So this help improve the cognitive skills and helps them to remember all these things and may possibly stop the progression of dementia.
Okay, that sounds like such a wonderful idea, and there'll be lots of people listening who'll have family members or people that they know who've suffered from this sort of thing, and so I think they'll be really interested to see how that progresses and how you get on with that. So, what advice would you give to people who are thinking about taking part in the awards, if they're thinking about entering and being part of the whole process? What sort of advice would you give, and what support would you give them to take part?
The people there are very helpful, and it's a really good award. They not only help you develop practical skills, they also help you develop social skills. And whatever your idea, you should enter this award, no matter how big or small.
Fantastic, and I think it sounds to me that a lot of these award things are the most exciting because it's the support that you get, isn't it? It's the people that you meet and the encouragement that you get, and all the information you get having been part of it, and it's fantastic to be a winner. But like you say, it's actually being part of the overall community of these things, which I think is probably the thing that people take the most away from.
Yeah, and it also builds up your confidence. And I was a very shy person before, but now I think I'm more comfortable, and the Tech4Good team has made me a bit more social.
Fantastic, and I have to say, I mean, it's been an absolute delight chatting to you, and certainly confident and very articulate, and it's been a real joy chatting to you. And have you continued improving your programming skills? Is that the thing you spend the most of the time doing now? And is that something that excites you, or is it a combination of the programming helping you to actually find new ways of helping people, like you said with your dementia idea?
It's whatever interests me. It depends on how I feel at that point.
And that's fantastic. And for those people listening, that's a fantastic thing to take away. How you feel at the time, what interests you, and what makes you inspired to do something. From there, anything is possible. So congratulations on the awards. Congratulations on a fantastic idea. And I'll be really interested to see if you're how your project goes after that. You were saying just before we started recording that you're looking to see if there are some people that can help you get it developed. Is that right?
Yeah.
And so what sort of thing would you be looking for? Are you looking for someone who can invest some money in it, or someone who can help you develop it a bit further? What is it that you need support in doing?
Somebody who can find an engineer or give us enough money so we can find an engineer who will improve the project and maybe turn it into a proper PCB, because right now it's all breadboard and wires.
Fantastic. Okay, well, if there's anyone out there listening who knows anybody who might be a help, then please get in contact. You can get through our website, which is educationonfire.com, and we can put you in contact. And that'd be fantastic if that could be developed further and sort of see your project all the way through to some sort of fruition.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for chatting to us, and it's been a real pleasure chatting, and I wish you all the best with your future projects, and especially your dementia idea, and all the best for the future.
And thank you for interviewing me.
You're very welcome. It's been a real delight. Thank you for listening to the Education on Fire podcast. For more information, please go to educationonfire.com.